Hello everyone, Sister Bright Zoey here. We're going to watch a clip of ZeroDarkTony oddly denying an accusation he said he never got. Then I'll walk through what we're seeing. This analysis focuses on verbal and nonverbal behavior. It's not about proving guilt or innocence. It's about understanding what the body and voice might be telling us when someone is under pressure. This clip from a year ago offers a rare glimpse into Tony's style when he's not preoccupied with his desk and trying to appear well-produced. Before we get started, please support my work by hitting the like and subscribe, and go check out my brother hero like Cody too. Now let's play the clip.
Misinterpreted a joke, probably intentionally, to make it look as bad as possible, to make it seem like I'm some kind of fucking... I've never been even accused of any kind of essay crime of any kind, ever, in my life. I mean, basically, I've kicked the shit out of a couple people, you know? I'm not bald either. See, it's gray. You see the color problem I'm having here? It's starting to get real gray. But I think this stuff down at the bottom, that's like the sexy stuff down here, though.
Okay, let's talk about what we just saw. Tony gives a denial. He says he's never been accused of SA. While saying that, he shakes his head no. That matches the words he's saying, which can sometimes reinforce credibility. But did you hear his sentence structure? He says, I've never been even accused of any kind of SA crime of any kind or in my life. Now, on the surface, that's a denial. But if you slow it down and really listen to the way it's constructed, you start to see some important things. This sentence isn't clean. It isn't simple. It's not confident or conversational. It's overloaded. It's repetitive. And it's defensive. Let me show you what I mean. First, the core message, the part that actually communicates something, is just this: I've never been accused of SA. That's all it needs to be. But instead, Tony stacks that sentence with layers of qualifiers and modifiers. When someone says, never been even accused of any kind of SA crime of any kind ever in my life, they're not just making a statement, they're building a wall around it. This is what we call overcompensation, where a person adds extra words, sometimes unconsciously, to try and make the denial sound airtight. But in reality, the opposite happens. The sentence starts to sound rehearsed, or overly careful, or like someone is trying really hard to close off every possible interpretation. And that effort, that need to over-clarify, tells us something important. It tells us this person is worried about how they're being perceived. It tells us they've thought about this topic before, maybe often. It tells us they're not just denying something, they're trying to control the frame of the entire conversation. And when people go that far to protect a frame, to manage what can and cannot be imagined about them, it usually means the subject hits close to something unresolved. Now, none of this proves guilt. We're not in a courtroom. We're analyzing behavior. But when someone adds this much language to a denial, when they say of any kind twice, when they tack on ever in my life, it's no longer just a denial. It's a performance. It's meant to overwhelm, to make it seem like the case is closed. But ironically, that much pressure often reveals the opposite, that something inside isn't settled, that something feels exposed. And when someone has made light of SA, weaponized it, and joked about it publicly, the moment they're on the receiving end is going to land differently. They know the weight of the accusation because they've used it themselves, and suddenly that same weight is on them. So this sentence, all those extra words, they're not just about innocence. They're about fear of being seen, fear of being named, fear of being linked to something they've treated like a joke, but now feels very real. And that's why this sentence matters. But right after that, there's a change in behavior. He touches his glasses, he looks away, then he touches his arms and crosses them, almost like a hug. Those aren't random movements. These are behaviors we often see when someone feels emotionally exposed. Touching the face, looking away, or closing the body in can all be signs of discomfort. These are usually unconscious and happen when the nervous system is under stress. Now here's where the larger context matters. Tony talks about this subject often on his show, not carefully, not seriously, usually in the form of jokes or mockery. He's used the word grape, he's made age of consent references, and he's used these topics to criticize or humiliate others, even minors. So in this clip, The shift is clear. He's not mocking someone else, he's defending himself. That kind of reversal can bring up a very different emotional state, especially for someone who is used to staying in control of the narrative. Tony has spent a lot of time talking about SA, not from a place of care or seriousness, but as a weapon. He uses it as a punchline, as a way to shame people he targets. So when he becomes the one connected to that kind of allegation, even indirectly, it's no longer a joke. It's personal. It's destabilizing. And we see it all over his body. Then there's the added layer, what his ex-partner said publicly, that he struggled sexually, that things ended before they even started. This isn't about shaming him. It's about understanding the emotional energy in this moment. Because when someone who makes a performance out of mocking others for being predators or victims suddenly has to defend himself against the same kind of narrative, it's not just denial. It's exposure. And exposure, for someone like Tony, is deeply threatening. He's used to turning accusations outward, to deflecting and mocking before anyone gets too close. But here the topic is one he's talked about again and again: sexual assault, consent, rape. And now it's pointed at him. So we're not just seeing a reaction to what was said, we're seeing a reaction to what it might mean, to how he'll be seen. Not as funny, not as untouchable, but as someone who might be capable of exactly what he accuses others of. That's what shows up in the body, the anxiety, the gestures, the shift in tone, the discomfort that starts as soon as the subject turns toward him. This isn't just about fear of being misunderstood, it's the fear of being recognized. When someone has made a platform out of mocking victims and accusing others, a moment like this forces a confrontation. It's not a performance anymore. And in that silence between his words, in the movement of his hands, in the break in eye contact, we're watching someone lose control of the story. And for someone who built their voice on control, that's the part they fear most. Not disbelief, but exposure.